hi everyone. My name is Paul Parrott, and I am the presenter for today. So I am a fellow with CORE, or Community Organized Relief Effort, and I'm basically somebody who goes around into the community and provides educational material on disaster preparedness and preparing for future disasters. So it's great to be here, and I really appreciate your time. Excellent. So thank you everybody for joining us today. This is our third workshop in our series on disaster preparedness for older adults. And today I'm going to be talking to you about prepping your go bag. Okay, so this is the bag that you keep in your home, in your car, or somewhere that you frequent that has all of the supplies you need to survive in a disaster for up to 3 days. So I'm going to start with just a couple of questions, and I want to know, how prepared are you? Okay, so how prepared is everybody? So with a show of hands, who has a go bag already packed? Not a nobody. Okay, that's okay. That's why we're here. Not unexpected. A lot of people don't have their go bags prepped, and it's just a matter of getting to that point. Does anybody have any ideas about what the 3 essential items are for a go bag? Just take some guesses.
Documents. Gas.
¿Qué son 3 esenciales que
Medication. Medication. Please.
Excellent. So it sounds like I heard a few things. I heard documents, I heard medication, I think I heard clothes, maybe water. And people are getting the right idea. Some of these are essential, some of them are not, but everything is important. And then just some ideas. Where do you people think they should keep their go bag?
Okay, también estaba preguntando por ideas de dónde tenemos que almacenar nuestra bolsa de emergencia.
En la salida
Sí, por la
en
salida.
algún lugar que ya va de salida. En el carro.
En el carro, okay.
Yeah, so I did hear some answers. We have some in the chat, in the closet, or in the car, and these are all actually correct answers. Keeping your go bag somewhere safe that you know about is what's most important. I personally keep my go bag in the car because that's where I tend to, if I'm traveling or if I need something, that's where I tend to keep it. But people keep them at the front of their door, you know, in their house, or in the closet at the front of their house. Really, it's just about somewhere that you know you'll be able to access it. So I'm going to give a brief workshop overview of what we're going to talk about today. So today we're going to be going over the 6 key components of a go bag. The first is documents. The second is food. Then we have water, medical supplies, something I call quality of life gear, and technology. So Perla, if you can comment those, or if people can see them, that's great too. So the big thing that I want you to take away today and remember, and you'll see it at the bottom of this slide here, is your level 1 items are necessary. And we'll get to that in a little bit, but I cannot stress enough, your level 1 items are mandatory to have in your go bag. Okay. Just want to reorient that we are on the 3rd step of the 5 basic steps for emergency preparedness. Okay, so the 3rd step, which is pack your go bag. Great. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So I'm going to breeze through this next slide. This is a really basic overview of the things that we want to pack in our go bag. So like I said, our go bag is a pack that has all of our survival supplies that we need in case of an evacuation or an emergency. Generally, we want to have 3 days worth of food and water, 1 week of medication, and include the following items: our documents, cash, a map, a paper map, and a downloaded map on our phones, a medication list, and the guide that you were provided, the Listos guide. So it looked like everybody at SPSS LA has a guide. So throw that into your pack, okay? I'm going to go into the next slide, which is the Spanish translation, and Perla, go ahead. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, so once you're finished with the translations, just give me a heads up and I'll know to move on to the next slide. So in terms of documents, we have everything up here on the slide. And there are a few must-have documents that we want to keep. And we can have them in paper form, we can have them on a flash drive, we can keep them stored online in a safe place, but that costs money. The documents include our passports and our visas. It could include our marriage certificates, birth certificates, adoption, naturalization certificates, a driver's license or a state ID. It could include our auto insurance policies or any kind of insurance policies that we have for easy access, our power of attorney and our will, our school records, especially for us who just graduated. This is important. It could include pet records and anything about your household. So this could be your rental certificate or the deed to your house, the deed to your car. Really, what's important is that these documents are able to prove who you are and what you own and how you are insured. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. The documents we want to keep are the things that prove who we are, what we own, and how we are insured. Okay. So the format of this presentation is going to focus on 3 levels of gear. Okay, so it's going to be level 1. And like I said earlier in the presentation, level 1 are our must-haves. These are necessary items for us to keep. Level 2 are things that they're nice to have. They make our life a little easier. And level 3 are the types of gear that we want to invest in. These are going to make surviving in an emergency much easier and enjoyable for an experience that is not generally enjoyable. So what I'll do is I'll go through level 1, and then Perla or whoever is providing translation will go through that. And we'll go like that, okay? And this is going to be the way that all of the other slides follow. So our level 1, we have to have food, right? We have to have food in our pack. And our level 1 can include things like beef jerky, powdered drinks or electrolyte pouches, granola, meal replacement bars. It could include peanut butter and crackers. You know, I think everyone here has seen these little peanut butter cheese crackers. It could include instant oatmeal. The idea behind these foods is that they store for a long time and they are calorie dense, okay? So they can provide us energy because we may not have a chance to eat a lot, okay? And so level 2 items for food can include canned foods like canned tuna or canned chicken, but it can also include Mylar bags of tuna or chicken or things like that. So you'll see a little image down here. We've all seen these little, you know, in the grocery store, these little packets of meat. The idea is that these are long lasting and storable, and they're not too heavy, right? We have to be able to carry our go bag. So if we're trying to lug around a bunch of soup or canned foods, that could get really difficult. So investing in these small packs is very useful. And our level 3 gear, these are the things that we invest in and put some extra money towards, could include MREs, military MREs. These are meals ready to eat. It's what we provide our military generally. It could include freeze-dried meals or prepackaged 72-hour kits. You see something like that down here. And these things are really nice because they provide a full meal by just adding hot water or cold water. It's a little nicer when we have hot water, but they are filling, nutrient dense, and they last a long time. Okay, so the next key item is water, okay? Food and water. These two are really big on the list. For our level 1, we want to have at least a reusable water bottle or a plastic water bottle, but you have to change that out more often. And we want to have about a gallon of water that we keep with us. This should last us approximately 3 days. It's not ideal, but it is something we can carry, okay? And so this is a great first step for water, but the next step up, right, our level 2 can include Mylar bags, okay, like these right here. These are emergency drinking water packets. They come in 8 ounces. They also make can version of these. They're very light and they store for a long time. We can also get 3-gallon car jugs or 2.5-gallon car jugs. So having some water in our car is also super important here. Yep. And level 3 for water are items that we use when we have run out of water. So these items tend to be expensive and they take some more work to use, but they include things like a life straw, which is a high filtration straw that allows us to drink even the dirtiest water. It could include water purification tablets like we have right here. These allow us to clean and purify unpotable water in as little as 35 minutes. It could also include something called a Silcock key, which is something you see at the bottom here. The Silcock key allows us to get water from business buildings using public faucets. So this is really, if this is the most emergency level of emergency water. So before I begin on this slide, do we have any questions? Okay, so I'm going to go back and forth between these two slides so that we can see them since they're on to the English and Spanish translations are separated. So level 1 items for our medical supplies. Okay, so this is especially important for older adults. We want to have at minimum a basic first aid kit, something like this. You can get them for 20 bucks on Amazon. We also want to have a list of daily medications and not just have our medications, but a list that says what they are and why we have them. We also need to have a 7-day supply of these medications. So please ask your doctor to write you a prescription to get 7 days worth of medication that you take regularly. We should also have hand sanitizer. COVID taught us that. Antibacterial wipes for wiping down surfaces and wiping down our hands, and some additional gauze. We want to have a little bit extra for ourselves and for our neighbors or our family. So our nice to haves for our medical supplies include a comprehensive first aid kit. This could be a box that has 1,000 items in it. This is a step up from the regular first aid kit. We could also include splints. These could be little pieces of wood, tongue depressors, or something in case we trip and fall and we need to splint our leg or splint a wrist. It could include herbal remedies. And I put this in here because being able to smell some lavender or some mint or have some chamomile tea can go a long way in our comfort and our mental health. So these herbal remedies can help with that. For older folks, it could be especially important to have liquid Band-Aid, which is a stronger form of Band-Aid and helps to close a wound much faster, and a CPR mask, because if anybody's ever performed CPR, they know that people often throw up. So if we need to perform CPR, we don't want another person's liquids or bodily fluids on us. The level 3 gear for medical supplies are things that are more expensive, but also things that are for the worst types of injuries that we might experience. So these can include hemostatic gauze, which is gauze that helps blood to clot. It's good for, stabs, or if you get punctured by something, or you have a really deep laceration. It could include chest seals, which is a type of emergency pad that goes over the chest to keep air from getting into our chest cavity. Rarely used, but could be useful. It could include zipper stitches, which you see here. These can go a long way in closing a deep laceration. It could include hemostatic powder, which helps blood to clot, and it's something we put onto wounds prior to applying a bandage. Or we could also include Narcan, and Narcan is a spray that stops the effects of an opioid overdose. For older folks, if you are on any kind of pain medication, purchasing some Narcan is very important. You never know when you may need it. When you are done with this class, you should go home and set time aside to prepare this bag. This is something you make ahead of time. So take a weekend, do it over a couple weeks, prepare now with your, again, level 1 items. Nivel 1 is esenciales. Having these things prepared ahead of time. And if you need them, I'm sure we can get these slides printed out for people, or we can send them in an email. So provide Isaac your email and we can get this information sent to you. Okay, so you have a copy. So we have 2 more important slides left for our GoBag. Supporting supplies. Okay, these are things that make our life easier. Our level 1 items, okay, again, these are our must-haves. These are esenciales. We have to have them. It includes a change of clothes, work gloves, a map. Again, a paper map is important. Toiletry items, cash, a pen and paper, maybe a Mylar blanket, something to keep us warm. I'm not going to list all of them out. You can see them here. Okay, but these are things that should be, they're easy to pack. Our level 2 items, these are things that aren't necessary for an emergency, but can go a long way in helping keep us protected or not bored. So, or children, right? Children also should have a GoBag. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Children should also have a GoBag. These include maybe a small mirror. This allows us to signal for help if we're in daylight, or to be able to, look at ourselves if that's important. But really, this is about signaling. It can include toys, games, a book, just a couple of items to keep you occupied and keep your mind off the emergency. And hand warmers, like Isaac mentioned earlier, to keep us warm. And our level 3 items, these are things that are different for everybody. Okay, so making your GoBag, personalizing it is super important. The things I like to include in my GoBag include something for self-defense. That can be pepper spray or a taser. It can be a knife, something just to defend ourselves. I think that's really important. And then also a metal cup. And that's going to help us heat water if we need it. It's going to give us a way of having something maybe to eat out of. These are just simple things, okay? But they're personalized items that I like to have in mine. You can personalize yours. So the last type of item that we want to have is what I call smart tech. Okay, these are things that this is types of technology that will help us be safe. For our must-haves, okay, level 1 includes a flashlight, okay? You need to be able to see. Phone cable and charger, okay? We all use phones. It's hard to find a landline nowadays. So in the case that there's an emergency and we are able to use our phones, we need to make sure they work. We should also have a crank radio, okay, to get information. If you were here for the second workshop, we talked about getting information and being informed. We also need batteries if we have gear that needs to be used with a battery. And as you see here, see this item in the middle, sometimes you can include all of those things together, right? You can have a flashlight that also charges your phone, that is also a radio. Perfect.